Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm so excited for this show today. I can't tell you. But first, I'm going to tell you who I am. I'm Terri Lee, pure visionary, psychic medium, and I'm so glad you've joined us today. If you're just stopping in to see what this is all about, you're in for a treat. And to all the subscribers and all those in the chat, thank you so much. I love you from the bottom of my heart. Today, I had the honor of doing the Walking in Two Worlds series with Terri Suzuki of Kigaru Spiritual Journeys. Hi, Terri.
Hi. I'm so excited to be here.
It's such a treat, and we've really been having fun. And I know you watched the last show, and did you catch Jean's show as well?
I taught jeans as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. So we're really having a good time. If you have not seen Terri Suzuki do her mediumship reading or stop by her channel, please be sure to do so, because Terri has a very, very special gift. And I'll make her blush later. But first, I'm going to talk about the show. For those who aren't familiar with the theme of the show, it's Walking in Two Worlds. And I always like to do a statement of intention so that if people are just dropping by, they can understand exactly what it's all about. So I'm going to read that right now. Walking in Two Worlds is an honest and open conversation between two psychic mediums about life experiences in their journey to becoming a psychic medium, as well as experiences after dedicating themselves as a professional psychic medium. Truly, we walk in two worlds. It is adventurous and wild at times, but always deeply meaningful, and an honor to be a vessel for source energy, a journey for which we will be eternally grateful. Later on in the show, we will take questions from the chat regarding psychic experiences you may have questions about, or questions regarding mediumship skills and how you can use psychic and mediumship skills to enrich your life, even if you're not planning on becoming a professional psychic medium.
Yep.
We will not do mediumship readings on this show, as we both do them on our own shows. And in fact, we're going to be doing them on Friday on Terri's show.
Yeah.
And so we will just be doing those types of questions, and I will be starring them. So if you have a question, go ahead and put it in caps, and I'll star it, and we'll have your question, and we'll answer your question at the end of the show. All right. Okay. So we're going to take a deep breath. Oh, Terri, you're getting a little blurry on me again, girlfriend. Wait, just
let's just keep going. I can't. I don't think I can make the Wi-Fi any better.
Yeah, we'll just do it. Okay, it's going to be all right.
Okay.
Okay. So here's where I make you blush. I am actually just got through doing. I always do like a dedication and a prayer before I sit down to do any show, and I thanked the source energy for allowing me to get to know you, be your classmate, have the honor of reading with you. It's been a very big pleasure. And if you are going to book a reading with Terri Suzuki, pack your bags, because you're going to be going on a journey. She has the most amazing, unique talent in her readings that they're just beautiful. And she has a wonderful way of presenting them. So you're right there with her. You're seeing what she's seeing. You're feeling what she's feeling and hearing what she is hearing in her heart. So I just want to say that and tell you how grateful I am to have you on the show today.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I love the journey part. That it's a lot of fun.
It's your unique gift. And, if those of you out there who haven't seen the other previous Walking in Two Worlds series shows, if you go back and watch those, we give questions and answers about unique gifts that we have. And they are truly unique because as the creator intended, you can be the same kind of flower, but there'll be some kind of difference in each flower that you see. And that's
Yep.
uniqueness. Yeah. So I'm just going to dive right in. Is that okay?
Okay.
Hit
Yeah.
you with the question. You ready?
Yeah. I'm ready.
Okay. So some of these questions will be the same ones that I asked in previous shows, but some of them, they all didn't get asked. And so we're going to try to
Cool.
just pick a few out that have been asked and
Okay.
then ask a few surprise questions. Okay. So I like this one in the beginning, though. So, what were some of the first experiences you had in this lifetime that you can look back on now and identify as part of your psychic and or mediumship gifts and abilities?
Well, I've mentioned some of these before, but when I was a child, um, I saw angels in my bedroom at night,
Wow.
and they just hung out, lit up the place a little.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Wow.
I do believe that I saw my great grandfather there too, who I knew in life. And then when he died, he hung around a little bit too. And now actually
Yeah.
he is a permanent helper on my stage when I
Yes.
read. He's always there.
That's excellent. That's
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
The I think that so one of the things I think that makes me slightly unusual is I don't know a whole lot about this. I have lived it. I've been living in two worlds for a long time. Sometimes it feels like three worlds, but I don't necessarily know all the terminology or anything. And I'm kind of coming to the realization that I probably had some pre-birth memories.
Okay.
And
Wow.
I think sometimes it made me a difficult child to bring to heal.
Uh-huh.
Um, we grew up Catholic when I was younger, and my mom used to try to tell me, like, don't do that, or you're going to hell, or something like that. And I
Oh,
just
yeah.
look at her like, I'm sorry, that's not the God I know, and just walked away. And I think it
Yeah.
probably frustrated her a lot that I just wouldn't quite, oh, no, 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 that doesn't happen. Um, So that was kind of probably a little hard for her to take sometimes.
Right. Yeah. I've been there, done that. Had those kind of experiences myself.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then because I've listened to the other two, I have to say the other thing that really there's a couple different things, but something that I just adored as a child was Star Trek. I love
My
Star Trek.
girlfriend.
Yeah, and what I loved about it is it always happened. I think it was a Sunday night thing, and my grandparents would had the TV in their bedroom, and we would sit on the bed, and my grandfather would make this like massive, massive bowl of popcorn, and we would
Oh,
watch Star Trek all together. And that
that's
was
super
so
cool.
much fun. And it I think it also really kind of got me to thinking about fair play a little bit, like
Yes.
a little bit about morals and ethics. I mean, I got that a lot from my grandparents and church, but it also made me think more broadly, even as a child.
Yes, they reached out. They really reached out and touched on a lot of the social issues that were happening at the time. And
Hmm.
for young viewers, that was our introduction to that. You know,
Yeah.
I think I mentioned that on the last show, but I
Mhm.
distinctly remember the one where they went to a planet and some of the people on the planet had blue
Right.
sides and a white side, and then they didn't
Yeah.
like the other people. Anyway, that was excellent, excellent,
That that
show.
one that is one that I deeply remember, but I also deeply remember because that since there were five of us in the family, we couldn't really afford to send us to a parochial school. So we went to catechism on Wednesday
Oh,
nights.
uh-huh.
And what my mother didn't know, and I would love to know if she knows it now. She probably does. I mean, she's on the other side. She probably does.
Yes, she does.
That she didn't know at the time, but radical nuns were teaching us, and all they were teaching us about was, empathy and everything about Martin Luther King and
Wow.
all of that.
Cool.
So like that particular episode was just really, really good because that's what I was hearing in catechism as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, but she had no idea that
That's
I
great.
still to this day know nothing about the Catholic Church.
Oh, man, those were some special nuns that you were taught by. That's excellent. How
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah. Wow. Well, we should link together on that deal. Yeah, Star Trek was a big eye opener for me, and I always remember, the time that I had to run down the street because our network didn't get it, and I had to run down the street to my friend's TV, and oh god, it was always such a
Oh,
panic, you know? Oh.
wow.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going to pause for just a minute here and say hi to everybody. So jump on in if you want. Can you see the chat too, Terry?
I do this on my telephone, and it's too
Oh,
small to
okay.
really see
Well,
the
then
chat.
I'm just going to say hi to T Barb and Warrior Girl 113. Hi. Welcome. The Crone Zone. Thank you for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. All right. And of course, Sun Psychic Jean, we love you, girl. We're going to
Yeah.
see you on Friday and do readings together. That'll be great. And of course, Sheila Angel Feather Tarot. Thank you for joining us. And Starfish and Valerie. Oh, you guys, we really, really appreciate you. You support us so well. And we're really going to have a good time today. And we thank you for joining us. Okay, so let's move along. Let's see. How was it that you came to know that becoming a professional psychic medium was your desire and your destiny?
Well, it's kind of a long story a little bit, but I didn't know I could control any of this. These things happened all through my life, all sorts of different things. And I talk to dead people all the time. I've seen ghosts. It was always happening, but I didn't think that it was a thing. I didn't think I could control it. And I didn't have cable like forever. And so I didn't know about the mediums on cable or anything. I hadn't really seen them. So I didn't know it was a thing. But when COVID hit, and March 2020, I'm working from home, and I used to be a grant writer for nonprofits, and actually, just I was a pretty good grant writer because my psychic ability paid off a lot.
Yeah.
A really good grant writer, if they got like 25% win rate, they would be golden. But I had like a 48% win rate because
That's using your skills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't really know it. I mean, I knew when we were going to get them, but I didn't know that that was psychic. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah.
And so I was doing that. I was not loving it. I was not loving it at all. And I was working from home. I was just hanging in there. And during the summer, my work approached me. I did grant writing for a therapeutic writing center where the children and adults with disabilities can come and get therapy on horseback. And it's really, people always like, oh, it's magical because it's horses, but it's really physics. But it is very magical. Horses are very magical.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
They asked me, my workplace said, Terri, since we're all shut down and we can't have summer camp as normal, would you volunteer to do virtual summer horse camp? So do it on Zoom.
Wow.
And we'll give you some lessons. They did not give me enough lessons. I had to make up a lot myself. But
That sounds tough.
yeah, it was so fun. So all of August, I got to do virtual summer horse camp, which prepared me for all of this.
So I'm sorry, can I interrupt and ask, when you
Sure.
say that though, so did you have a camera on you and you were with a horse and you're talking about the horse? Is that how you were doing it, or?
I might, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I had a little set in the therapy room, which we couldn't use with people because everything needed to be washed down. The
Sure.
therapy room was amazing. I mean, there's zip lines and swings and
Oh, how cool.
all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah.
And then they didn't give me the technology to do it. So I had to figure all the technology out myself. And one of the things was the Wi-Fi for their site wasn't very good. And I had to figure out, how can I make the Wi-Fi work no matter where I'm at? And so that's why it's so illogical that I can't get my Wi-Fi to work today, right when I'm home. You know? But I figured out how to do it, how to make my phone a hotspot, put it in my pocket, and then use my iPad. And so then the class could go, and I could go to the horses, and we could interview a horse or watch a horse's hooves be picked, or
Right.
whatever we're going to do. And it just turned out to be amazing. I mean, there are probably a whole lot of really embarrassing video clips out there of me riding a pool noodle horse at a show. And dance parties. I mean, they threw everything my way that could possibly make me embarrassed. And the other thing is I'm very shy, actually. And I thought, oh my God, I don't want to be on camera. And you know, I got goofy teeth and a goofy smile, and my hair's never quite right. And the waddle, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, how can I do this? But I have to tell you, testing out the Wi-Fi from every point on the thing was like that one ad where you're like, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I saw myself so much on camera.
Oh my gosh.
I could care less how I look now. It's like, could you just, it just took away all that. And I had to walk around and do that. And it was so amazing because it prepared me for this. I had to listen very carefully because while they had planned out these lessons, the kids, and I'm using that term loosely, I had from 8 years old to probably 25. They might have something else that they want to say or learn about, or they want to have answered. And so I had to be careful to pick up those cues, to pick it up and to answer it. And it just, and the other thing is, at the time, my grandma Carol, who I call my horse grandma, because she was my country grandma who had horses that I always rode. And I felt like I was channeling her. I felt like I was channeling my grandma Carol, because she was all about love and kindness, and you know, it felt like she never put anybody or anything, especially not God, in a box.
Isn't that awesome?
So basically, I had a whole month of channeling my grandma, listening to invisible clues, and doing this. And I just knew somehow inside, that psychic medium part of me, I just knew something was changing. Something big was changing.
It's growing and blossoming, you know, and so rewarding, so satisfying. That's another thing that Terri and I have in common, is that I worked with an equine therapeutic ranch here for about 3 years. So
so you know,
it is so amazing. Not only are horses amazing because they are very psychic, right? Do you agree? Horses are completely psychic. And the young people, and helping them to have confidence, all that kind of stuff. So rewarding. And then you mentioned something else that quirked my mind, and that is channeling. And I have had that experience where I'm talking to somebody and all of a sudden stuff comes out of my mouth and I'm like, I think I'm channeling somebody. Do you have that experience very often?
Yes, actually. And this is where my not knowing what everything means kind of
Exactly.
comes in a bit. So I have had the experience of talking to my brother. My brother has kind of woken up too. And so him and I get to
Great.
talk a lot about this sort of thing. And one day we had talked one day, he called me back the next day and he said, Terri, that was so cool what you said about dad. And I'm like, I'm trying to remember, what did I say? And I'm like, well, Timmy, I don't remember, what did I say about dad? And he said, remember, you said that he used to cut hair in the Brownstown Tavern, which is out in the Indian reservation near where I live, and where my grandmother and my father grew up there.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, Tim, I didn't say that. You said that there was a room right off to the left of the doorway, and that he had this little room, and he would cut hair on the weekends. And I'm like, Tim, I don't know that. And I'm like, and he's like, yeah, you did. You said it. And I'm like, okay, it sounds familiar. I mean, it doesn't sound like something I wouldn't say. And so we actually went on a detective hunt to find out, is this true? Because
Wow.
he had already said, Terri, I used Google Earth and zoomed in, and there's that room that you described.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then we asked an older relative, and she's a little highfalutin, and she's like, no, your father would never do something so low class as that. And my father was a beautician, by the way. And we asked a different cousin, and she said, yes, that's the only place I got my hair cut.
Oh, that's neat.
And it was right when you walked in the door, it was right to the left in this little room.
So you got that validation. That's cool.
Oh,
Very cool.
I do not remember saying it to
Yep.
this day. I still don't remember saying it. So God knows I could be running around channeling all the time.
Yeah, that's something happened to me that way. I was talking to somebody that I kind of knew, but not really. We weren't really close. And I started saying really serious stuff about her, like, that I wouldn't have known, that I didn't know. And I just had this funny feeling about it. And we finished, said goodbye. And I kind of walked away and I went, oh my God, what did I do? I don't know. And that's when I realized I must have been channeling someone that needed to get that message through to her.
Right.
So yeah, that's an interesting thing that happens. And like we said, it's wild. It's wild. Okay. Let's, do you want to just briefly explain how you studied and practiced to be a psychic medium?
Yes.
Was Kim and Susan's class the first class that you took?
Yes, that's where I met you and Jean. So after that summer camp, I was watching near-death experiences on YouTube like all the time. I'm a very hard worker. I really am like a overworker, but I could not work. Oh my God. I had to like beat my head against the wall to make myself work. Part of me wanted something. It wanted this, but I couldn't deny it. And finally, and they had told me right after summer camp. So I've heard guides all my life. They like nudge me. They rarely talk. They nudge me. They give me knowings. And I basically got the knowing, quit your job.
Yeah. I actually remember having a conversation with you after class or in class, or maybe it was when we were reading for each other. And you started to talk to me about that. And you said, I think I have to do it. I think I got to do it, Terri. I'm like, wow, we'll go for it. Yeah.
Well, Yeah, because by the time we had class, I had already quit, but I was still doing them on the side a little bit for people.
Oh,
But
okay.
I
Yeah.
don't do that at all now. But they said, quit your job. And I'm like, okay, okay. And I'm like,
That's
but
huge.
after I get this money, after I get this grant done, after this one, and finally in May, they said done, and they made my boss. I'd been very successful, got a lot of money in, so they had a lot of room, and they didn't realize how good 48% is. And, made me an offer for a different job that I could not accept. I could never accept it.
Yeah.
And so I quit. So
Yeah.
basically they forced me I got fired by them, okay? And so then that left openings for me to take a class. And so I took a class with you and Jean. So Susan Lynn and medium Kim Copeland were my teachers. It's the first time I ever took a class on any of this.
Yeah. And we were all such newbies. I mean, we were
yeah.
we were all just kind of coming in blind, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when we started to develop our skills, it was so exciting. Do you remember that feeling?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
super, it was exciting, it was scary. It was like, what if this is just this time? What if this is what if this is just it? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, huge leap
Yeah.
of faith that you took there. Huge leap of faith. Absolutely.
Yeah.
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 So, I'm going to pause real quick here and just mention once again, hey, everybody in the chat, we love you all. And at the end of the show, we're going to be taking questions. And I have not seen one question yet. So you better get busy because we're going to take some questions on psychic experiences that you've had, strange things perhaps that you've seen or felt, what it's like to be a psychic medium. You can ask us questions like that. You can also ask how you can use your skills in your own life. And maybe you have a situation in your life where you could be really helped by enriching and spreading your wings and having your psychic medium skills come and help you. All right. So back to the questions for you. All right. Let's see. Okay. Because I love asking the psychics this because everybody has their own vibe on it. But can you explain to us how you see with your third eye? And have you ever actually, and I guess you already answered that question, you have actually seen spirits or ghosts with your physical eyes. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So how do you see with your third eye?
So what my third eye shows me when after I have to meditate and get all ready to go. Although once in a while it's good not to even do that and just jump into the deep end.
Yeah.
They tend to show me a stage, not an old-fashioned like music hall stage. It's really very modern. It's got like a white quartz floor.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah, and then to the left is my sitter, and they're the biggest thing. They're the closest to me and the biggest.
Mm-hmm.
Right behind them is an angel and at least one or two of my spirit guides waiting.
Mm-hmm.
As we start going to the right of the stage, so right kind of beside them is like stadium seating, like bleachers, and that's with what level somebody's at. So I kind of know the relationship a little bit, although I have to say that's getting harder and harder. And then there's a little hallway in case you have to go behind there, which I never had to, but Jean has.
Wow. Yeah. Cool.
And then right beside that on stage is there's a thing on my stage, and it's kind of like a hangout table, I guess. I'm not quite sure what they're planning with that, but it's basically an open area.
I like that.
Where the spirit comes and does. And then beyond that, there's a little cave, and that's where the spirit animals hang out. Because ever since I did rocks and feathers, they now have their own cave, and
they have their own hangout room.
yeah, and it seems like after that class, everybody gets a
love that.
spirit animal when I read them.
That's so cool.
And then to the very right edge of the stage is a small curtain, a very thin curtain, but behind there is my great-grandfather, Cooper, and he is very protective of me. He's always there, but he's kind of like stage crew. If I need something brought out, he like runs it out. And also ancient ancestors are there sometimes. Sometimes they're mine, sometimes they're the person I'm reading. And they're so ancient, they don't have a body anymore. They're just a vibration of color that looks feather-like, sort of ish, feather-like. And it doesn't mean they only stay that way. They can kind of change shape and do what they want. But they also assist at whatever needs to happen. So I see the stage. What's changing now is that the stage can change at any time.
Oh no. Oh no, she's frozen. You froze for just a minute, dear.
No. What I was saying was the stage changes a lot now because I have very little control over the stage now. Whoever I'm reading, sometimes they just change it. And you know, one of the videos that I have on my site is where I was reading somebody's father who happened to be a movie star.
Wow.
And he just wiped the stage right off and put a viewing room right there. And I'm like, oh, okay. And his levels weren't the same as mine. So I kept thinking, am I trying to read her aunt? Her aunt? It was her mother. But, but I almost got the name. So she recognized it right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You know, that's what I find so fascinating about you, Terri, is that how do I put this? Your world of the unknown, you know it so well. I mean, that doesn't even make sense, does it? But you do. You start to describe things, and I'm like, you're seeing all of that? Wow, you kidding me? That's great. And that's where those journeys come from, you know.
Yeah, that's where the journeys come from. So, so I'm not clairaudient like you, although that can happen. I've often been woken up with somebody yelling my name or hitting the doorbell, even if I don't have a doorbell. Knocking on the door. So I do have it. I just don't know how to use it yet. So mostly I get a seeing, I get a vision, and I gotta interpret the vision, but that's really dangerous. I can over interpret, I cannot interpret correctly. Things might not make any sense to me, sense to the person. So I try to describe everything I'm seeing. I'm trying to bring you
very
on the
detailed,
journey.
I might add. Yeah.
You can, because it might mean something to you.
Yes.
That it doesn't mean to me, you know.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, you're an amazing reader, and I think in one of the other shows with Jean that we talked about the psychic bounce that we get from each other, and that's the interesting thing about the three of us is that we'll add our own particular unique thing in, right? So I'll hear something, and then you'll go, "Well, I see this," and it all fits together. It's just
it's so crazy sometimes.
It's amazing. All right. So
I shouldn't say crazy. It's magical.
It is magical. That is so true. It's so true. And it's a wild ride. So let's see. We talked about you being nudged by your guides. So I had a question about that. But let's see. Here's an interesting one. Can you read a room when you walk into a gathering of people? And have you always had this ability, or has it become more powerful since you have studied to be a psychic medium?
Well, I plan to read a room. I haven't yet. It got canceled, but I'm still going to do it. But so when I am an introvert and an empath. So when I do walk into a room,
there you go.
It doesn't feel that good.
Ah,
I don't, because I think I can feel everything. Sometimes I can hear everything. If there are elderly people there that have dementia, I
oh
can
dear.
completely hear them.
Wow.
Completely hear them. I spend all my time bringing them whatever food they want that they keep telling me to bring them. So um,
That's amazing.
I
Yeah.
I I do sometimes have knowings about people, like really strong knowings, but
Mhm.
I have never been one to like blurt it out or to tell
Right.
them.
Oh, yeah. That could be
Um,
dangerous, actually.
yeah, I mean, once in a while, I mean, not in a room. Sometimes I'll get a message for somebody, like one of my cousins. Uh, they were very insistent I should tell him not to drive fast, not to speed and get crazy.
Ah, yeah.
And I fought it for the longest time. And finally, like 11 o'clock at night, I called him to tell me, he's like, "Are you drunk?" I'm like, "No, no. I don't drink, by the way, but he does." So, and I'm like, I have a message for you. I'm a
Yeah.
little bit psychic, and they're telling me you shouldn't drive fast. You shouldn't
Ah,
speed. Be very careful.
mhm.
And the nice thing is he said, I don't know if I believe in all that, but if anybody spends time thinking about me, I'm going to
Oh,
accept it.
oh,
And
that's
so
sweet.
he actually drove carefully. And, the funny thing about that kind of thing and why it's so hard for psychics to like tell you that kind of thing, because the best outcome is nothing happens.
Yes, absolutely.
It's doing nothing.
Yes. All right. Well, let's see. I'm thinking we might want to take some questions, and so far, I only have one. If anybody else has a question other than Valerie S., get it up there. We're going to start with Valerie.
Okay.
Okay. So Valerie says the knowing feeling, like Terry mentioned, but how do you figure out the message?
So as I'm seeing the scene and the knowing, it happens two ways. So sometimes the knowing, they'll give me the first few words, and
Hmm.
what they want me to do then is just open my mouth, just
Yes.
talk, just say those three words and keep talking, and they will put them in. I don't know what the next words are going to be. They're just going to put them in.
Hmm.
And I have to trust enough that they know what they're talking about, and
Yeah.
just trust that I'm actually receiving the right thing. In fact, Jean and I have talked about this, and we really think what we really are just conduits,
Yes.
pipes. We're pipes. We just have to
Conduits of
do what
energy,
we, yeah.
vessels. Yeah. That's
And
my prayer of intention. I always ask to be a vessel and a conduit of energy. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, and so with the knowing, that's what it is. I just have to open my mouth. When I'm seeing the picture and I'm describing things, then they'll give me little knowings like that means this means that. And then slowly, as I'm learning to do these things, I know what something's mean. Like to me, if I see a rainbow, whether it's a real rainbow or a rainbow of flowers, it means many, many, many. So,
Right.
like
I
if
was
they
just going to
say,
ask if you have certain things that mean certain things to you that they
yeah,
give you.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
So I'm slowly kind of putting those all together. Like, what do these things mean? But that doesn't mean that they can't change. So I'm not super harsh on that. The meanings can change based on what they want. And so I just have to kind of go into that knowing,
Yeah.
just kind of look into it and try to take my ego out of it. Try
Yes.
to take the oh well, I'm seeing a dog. Um, and a dog means spiritually this. So instead what they usually want me to do is I see the thing and they want me to think about, what if your dog, how would you feel? That's what they do, these things in there for me to say, oh, what if this was mine? What would I feel? Oh, I would feel so loved. I would feel so, and so
Yeah.
then I say that.
Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. I'm always surprised. I'm always surprised. I'm always, something new is always happening where you're like, wow, that's never happened before. I had a reading the other day where usually you can feel right away. They're right up there. You can see them, you feel them, they get their message. We talk about getting downloads. Sometimes I get downloads like when I'm meditating or I'm channeling writing and that kind of stuff. But as I'm reading, that's a download because it comes so fast that there's lots of times I have to go back and look at the video because I don't remember what I said. Now I'm starting to take notes. But I had a reading the other day where there wasn't any specific question and it was just whatever comes up. And I got guides and people from the other side, but it wasn't separate. Their messages merged. So I just started saying what I was feeling and hearing. And then later we figured it out that it was both family members from the other side and guides that were speaking. Oh, I got chills.
I know one thing that's changing for me is the evidence. Of course, we learned how to do the basic things that, to be an evidentiary medium, you should first get some evidence proving that you have the right person and then give the message.
Yeah.
What I'm finding is on YouTube, we don't really have enough time to do that. When I'm reading somebody for an hour, I have plenty of time to do that. But when we're reading live, we don't have that time. And so what I'm finding happen is that the evidence is in the message, that somewhere contained in the message is the actual evidence of who they are.
Right. That's true.
Yeah. And so that's making things faster. And I also then had to kind of live with and accept that yes, this is the way we normally do it, but things are changing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. And it is the most amazing experience to read live like that, just on the spot. It's because normally, when I have a private reading, I spend a few minutes just kind of, chatting and appreciating the other person's aura and getting that kind of a vibe first. But when you just get the question, it all has to come at once. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Terri,
All right. Well,
I have a question for you. Do you see auras?
Moi? Do I see auras? I do see colors. It's interesting. Like if somebody is ill, I see like a gray. I can't quite describe it. It's just kind of like a filmy gray thing around them. It's not constant. Like I might be talking to them and not see it, and then all of a sudden I'll see it and feel it. Like, oh, you sense that. Auras, no, I mostly feel auras, but I do see colors sometimes. How do I describe it? If I'm talking to somebody in my third eye, I'll feel like a color, like a bright pink is my love color. So sometimes when I do a reading and the bright pink comes in, I'm like, oh, somebody is here that really loves you, that kind of thing. But I don't actually, there are some mediums and psychics that describe how they see auras, and it blows my mind.
Yeah, I don't see, once in a great while, just like you, I'll see some colors or an aura around somebody.
Yeah.
But generally, I've found that I tend to see auras when it's somebody really bad, like the spirits are warning me to stay away from them.
Wow, that's interesting.
Like you're walking down the mall and I'm like, ooh, no, don't even get anywhere near them, and grab all your children's hands.
That's interesting. I get a vibration like from people that I should not communicate with. Just get a feeling like, something about you I don't like. All right. Blessed 1111 says, any messages from my spirit guides? Will I reconcile with my ex? Well, I tell you, let's find out.
Mm. Hmm.
I'm getting that pink color, so you're getting a lot of
Ooh.
love from your guides right now. Hmm. What I'm hearing is rest assured you will see the signs. And I'm assuming that's regarding your ex. Let's
You
see
know,
what else.
I'm not really getting much on this at all. I actually kind of heard, and it's weird. So when I say I hear somebody, I don't audio hear them. It's really more of a knowing, but
Mhm.
kind of like a voice. They're like, and they ask like, does she want to get back with him? So I don't know. I don't know what that means. But I have a feeling that what usually when they ask me a question like that, it means that they don't have either or, that they don't, they are neutral on it. So
Yeah, I'm getting a message from the guides now. This is a they're saying that stay the course. You're doing an amazing job and we're standing behind you. But be more alert and watch for the signs. They're talking about the signs. They're going to be showing you something. Be ready for it. And it may not just be about your ex. It may be about your life. It may be about your health. Um, just, just listen with your heart. Listen with your heart and watch for the signs. We will send them to you. It's interesting when you talk about the reconciling with the ex. Lots of times when people in readings will ask me, specific questions like that. And usually when it involves choices that are of the soul, they will take a neutral stand. They
mm,
usually will take that neutral stand because, we're all given freedom to choose. And the way we discern, and each of us, we all have that way that you know, I meditate, I'll grab the tarot cards or whatever, but that's my own personal discernment between me and source energy, right? That's
mhm.
the thing that guides me. Now, something that guides you, blessed 1111, might be completely different, but seek it out and be aware and be ready because it sounds like they're going to be showing you some things.
I like that reading. That resonates with me.
Cool. All right. Well, let's see. We've got another one. Oh, here's a great one. Okay, hang on. I got to do a little driving here. All right. All right. Warrior Girl 113. My question. Terri, when you see ghosts, have you noticed if they have feet or not? Whenever I've seen them, they haven't.
All of mine have feet.
That is a
So
great question.
that is, all of mine have feet. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna explain how I see these spirits, if you will.
Uh-huh.
So ever since I was a little child, about 2 weeks after somebody I love passes, then they come to me in a dream and talk to me. I guess a few of them have been close enough. I wouldn't have got to see they had feet, but I've seen my high school teacher. He had feet. He was walking towards me. Yeah, he had feet. Um, but so they come and they tell me that they're okay. My high school teacher told me more. He basically said, "Please be nice to the next teacher. Do not torture him." Um,
I love
which,
that. Oh,
fair play to him. Yeah, that was good to know. Um, and then one time, the the first nonprofit I worked for, the leader passed away, and she had had stage 4 breast cancer for a long, long time. And she was the first person that I saw, that I knew I was seeing a spirit that was not part of my family, was not somebody I loved. I mean, loved her as a human being, but
yeah.
yeah. And she came to me twice in a dream, twice sleeping when I was asleep, asking me to apply for her job. And I knew there was no way in this world that I would ever get that job or that would want that job. Just because somebody passes over doesn't make them all knowledgeable, okay? Especially when it's that close to where they passed. And she knew that I had the heart for it, but I also knew that they would never, ever, never hire me for that. And then, so she came to me 2 weeks after she died. 1 week after that, so the third week in a dream. The fourth week, I was in a staff meeting. I was the director of a region, and I had 16 other centers that would come and report in. And so we were all meeting to have a staff meeting. And I had we were sitting in a circle, and I had taken one chair out beside me so people could leave to go to the restroom if they wanted to. And they were presenting something and talking, and right in the middle of the circle, my boss appeared. And I saw her physically. I didn't see her in here. I saw her.
Wow.
And she was standing in the middle of it, tapping her foot with a hand on her hip. She was mad. She was mad all the times I saw her, which was a tiny bit scary. Tapping her foot, and she said, "You're going to apply for my job?" And I'm like, okay, nobody can hear her but me. Okay. Wow. And I'm like, so inside I'm saying, no, I told you no. I told you no, we can't do that. And you shouldn't be here. No, 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 no. And as I'm saying, no, 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 inside with my hands up like this, she screams and runs right through me. She runs right through me, whooshes me. And as soon as she hit me, I go, really loud. And they all turn to me like, "Terri, what's wrong?" And I'm like, oh my God, I can't tell them I just had the boss run through me. I can't tell her I just saw the boss. She's not here. So I'm like, oh, I just remembered something I forgot that was really important, and I need to tell you. Yeah. And they bought it, and we went on.
Oh my gosh.
But it was wild. Yeah, it was wild. And yeah, so the thing is that I've also, as an adult, seen angels in person. I did one's hair once. And you know, I really do think that we probably see at least an angel a week. We just don't even know it because they don't want us to know it. They look like us, you know?
Yes, so yes, I believe that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
Angels among us. Yeah. But I also see, I don't actually see, I just see lights with colors, and then you feel whether it's an angel or a spirit or a ghost or something. But yeah, we're surrounded. We're surrounded, you guys.
I did not feel the angel till she left. No, I just thought it was a regular human being. And I didn't know the whole story till I was in class with you.
Yeah.
So this happened a long time ago when I was 20 years old, and I was becoming a hairdresser, and it was my very first real client. And I was terrified because I have 2 learning disabilities that make it really hard for me to communicate. And, you know, now I'm 60 years old. I have a lot of communication under my belt, but I didn't then. And I really was very scared. And I think that's why they sent her. And so they she was just this cute little old lady. She was so cute. She came, I did her hair. We talked and talked and talked.
Oh,
So easy. It was so easy. And I took her back up to the front for her to pay. And I just thanked her for being my first client. And then as we went out the door, and it was a glass door, I saw the edge of her coat flap. And I'm like, oh, that's not a human. And I ran out really quick because I realized this is an angel. And she wasn't there. Nobody was there. But there was nothing in the parking lot except for one car. And I thought, ooh, could she be hiding? And I actually went around the car as if an angel's going to be crouching down under a car.
I think, yeah, that's funny.
She was nowhere to be seen. And then later in class, we were doing an exercise, and we were asking the angel Gabriel to come help us. Do you remember that exercise? We were asking Gabriel to help us. And I got a really good reading. I don't remember with who, but at the end, I wasn't listening to the teachers. I was kind of inside praying, thanking Gabriel for helping me so much. And then in my head, I could see him suddenly.
Wow.
Oh, hi, Gabriel. And he said to me, I mean, this is the only time I kind of heard words. He's like, but you and I know each other. And then another face came up, and it was the old lady.
Whoa.
Like, what?
You're blowing my mind, girl.
I was shocked. Thankfully it was the end of our class because I couldn't even talk. I'm just like, what just happened here?
That's interesting. You know, I know that I have experienced talking to someone, and I specifically remember this older lady that was in the secondhand store I was in. I was there with my granddaughter, and she spoke to me about my necklace, and then she talked to me, and the way she looked at me, it was like she was looking right through me. It was an interesting feeling, you know? And she said some interesting wise words, and then I noticed my granddaughter, and I go, "Well, very nice to chat with you. I'll talk to you later." And I walked away, and I literally got chills, and I was like, "Wow, who was that?" And when I went back to try to find her, she was gone. And then I thought, I wonder what that was.
I actually remember my conversation with the angel. And
that's cool.
It didn't ring any bells at the time, but I remember her sitting there, and I'm doing her hair, and she said things like, "You were such a delightful child to watch growing up.
Oh, interesting.
And you and your brothers and sisters are so much fun." And it was all this. I did not even.
She was giving you hints.
But it didn't take, because my father was a hairdresser. He owned many beauty salons and a beauty school, and every old lady saw me grow up. Right. Grow up. So I didn't think anything of it until I saw Gabriel, and he also brought back the conversation. And I'm like,
wow,
oh, good Lord,
that's wild. Okay, well. You just never know. You never know.
Yeah.
And to be on the lookout, right?
So, and she definitely had feet. She definitely had feet.
Okay. And nice segue back to Warrior Girl's final comment. The only one I have seen with feet is Jesus, and he was wearing sandals. Thank you. That's great. That's great. Okay, well, we got to take this question from Sun Psychic Jean. So let's take it. Please tell us how you met your guide, Sea Turtle.
I recently, after I took the class, so we took the class in June, that next September, I got to go to Maui. And also at that particular time, I also had to come out to my husband. to let him know what was happening, because I had never told him about any of this, because I didn't think beforehand that it was anything that you could control. And I didn't think it would be such a big part of my life. But in Maui, I had a live show and I would have to do it in front of him. And I realized, I mean, he'd be nearby, he wouldn't be in front. But I'm like, I got to tell him now. So I had that show, I told him, and this place was so wonderful. And you could just walk right out the back door, right on.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
There are these massive, massive things. And they were in the water too. And they were really pretty and I liked them. I went out swimming and saw one in the water. In fact, it almost like it sought me out. And however, when it sought me out, it scared the bejesus out of me. I screamed in the water and outside the water, and that sea turtle took off. It's like, I don't want any, you're a hot piece of work there. I'm not sticking around for you. But later on, I was meditating, I think. I'm kind of forgetting a little bit, but I was meditating, and the sea turtle showed up on my stage. And I'm like, wow, who are you? And she doesn't speak, but she does somehow let me know what's going on. She's like, well, I'm your spirit guide. And I'm like, okay. Now, I had some misinformation about what a animal spirit guide does. I thought that they pretty much all had to be protective and like, be like bears or sharks or somebody who could protect you. They're scary. And so I actually wasn't very nice to her. I was like, oh, you're my spirit guide, are you? Okay, so what are you going to do for me? And she's like, well, I'm going to help you. I'm going to guide you. And I'm like, okay. Well, you're a great guide on water. You can really move fast. That's fabulous. But on land, you're not very fast. And she got indignant. She got mad. She's like, I'm plenty fast. Thank you. Because it turns out she can fly in the air or swim in the water. It's just like swimming to her. It's all swimming,
Sure.
She was like, I'll thank you not to impugn me. She was really indignant. But thank God she forgave me and kept going about that. So that's how I met her. She is around, not every single time I read somebody, but she's often around. She takes me on the most awesome journeys.
Cool.
She's, I think, Terri, I don't know if you find this. So I can just, when I do personal readings, I can just do a plain personal reading where they ask me questions. I go find the answer to the people that they want to talk to. And it's just very straightforward.
Really?
Yeah, I actually do those too. But if the person has any sort of spiritual abilities or leanings or whatever, we can go on a journey.
Yeah.
And so that sea turtle has taken me on journeys with actually a few people in your audience right now. She's taken us under the ocean to invite one of them to be on a star council.
Wow.
And
exciting.
I have not talked about this on my channel, but only because I haven't told my husband this yet.
Oh, well, do tell. Dish it.
Well, I am in contact with some star beings as well. And this same guide took me down in the ocean, took me way down to, and I asked her, where are we going? And she said, to talk to the wise ones, the ancient ones. And they took me way deep in the ocean where it's just black. And then I saw a humpback whale, and the humpback whale then took me through a portal to another planet where I
Ah,
met with the council. And so
wow.
she's very handy for that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but the sea turtle
How
can't.
very lucky you are.
I know she can't go as deep in the water, so that's why I had to switch to a whale. So who are the
Ah.
whales, the ancient ones? So
Oh, wow. I had, a blue whale, come to me in the, Rocks and Feathers, the shaman class with,
right. Oh
Danny
yeah,
Shea and Medium Kim, and it was amazing because I never realized how big they were. I mean, I think they're like one of the largest animals that ever existed, correct? Yeah?
right.
Wow.
Oh yeah, yeah. And
Very,
it's
very
either the
cool.
humpback or the blue that's the biggest. And
I
I'm
think it's
not completely
blue.
sure which one I saw, but I got to kind of swim by their eye, and their eye was taller than I was. And it was
Yeah,
like,
that's wild. And then I think I've told the story of the hawk, the red-tailed hawk that flew into my backyard. And, there's hawks all around where I live, but hawks tend to hunt in the fields and farms, right? And
they're
so
not
when
going to come to a
it flew
yard.
into my backyard and landed on the tree right outside the window where I was doing the dishes and
Mhm.
looked right at me, and I'm like, oh my God, this
Yeah.
is meaningful. And it was, I felt like that spirit guide vibe. So I ran and got my book, Animal Speaks, and read about red tail hawk and what it means to have one as a
Wow.
spirit guide. I was so excited. And even went and got a little red tail hawk necklace. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm vibing with this guide. And about a week later, it flew into my backyard again. I'm like, "Oh, there it is." And it was a little further back in my backyard, right? And I'm looking at it. I'm like, "Okay, what message do you have for me?" And I look a little closer, and in its claws was one of my little chickadees that live in my backyard.
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
"Oh,
So
no,
beautiful
red-tailed
vibe.
hawk, what have you done?" And and later, I meditated on that and I thought, "Okay, you shouldn't be shocked by this, but what's the message? There's a message there for you, Terry." That's what guides give you, right? And the message came to me that this is planet Earth. You're living on planet Earth, and planet Earth functions the way it does. It was designed that way, and that's the way it is. And the red-tailed
Yeah.
hawk is very, very good at what he does, and he has incredible vision to fly over my yard is covered with big trees and to seek out that little chickadee and to snack it, you know,
Mhm.
literally snacked it. And
Yeah.
that was the message to me. And I still see him. He still comes back every once in a while. Not always eating my chickadees, but he's giving
Mhm.
me, messages and lessons, and that's really cool. That's what that's all about. So I really love that story. That story
Oh,
was great. Well, wow, we're
awesome.
getting right on, little over an hour now. So I just wanna stop and just kind of really, really give my heartfelt thanks to everybody who joined us today. Um And I want to just express our love. I think Terry shares
Mhm.
in this for
Mhm.
the community that supports us and gives us incredible questions like the ones we just got,
Mhm.
and challenges us to do mediumship readings when we do those together.
Mhm.
It's an amazing feeling to and I get the feeling we're all playing. We're all playing. I'm playing
Mhm.
with you. We're playing with
Mhm.
Sun Psychic Jean. We're playing
Mhm.
with our supporters and the spirits and the angels and the guides. They're all playing with us too. It's
Mhm.
a wonderful feeling, and it's a joyful feeling, and it's something that a lot of people feel has to be very serious and a certain way or has to come through a certain this, that, and the other, but it doesn't. That's the beauty of it all. And
Yeah.
that's one thing I appreciate so much about you, Terry, because your uniqueness is it's it's shining.
They they, they have a lot of fun with me. It is it's sometimes serious, but it's rarely serious. They make fun of me.
Yes.
After that, not understanding about the spirit guides, everybody who got an animal spirit guide, they all like leaped out on the stage to scare me, and they're like, "Was that scary? Did that scare you enough?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you're a spider. Yeah, that was scary." You know?
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I talked about that with Susan about our guides and how they tease me, they keep me on my toes and never let myself take, I don't take myself too seriously because they remind me not to.
mm,
And yeah, we have a lot of fun. We really do.
mhm,
And that's really
yeah,
neat to share that. Well,
yeah.
we are going to be on, and I should have had a banner for this. My apologies. Terri Suzuki's Kigaru Spiritual Journeys channel of Friday, right?
Mhm.
And
Yep.
what's the time, Terri?
The Friday one is at 2:30, I believe. 2:30
2:30 Pacific.
Pacific
Right.
time.
That would be 3:30 Mountain,
Mhm.
and the rest of you can figure it out for yourselves.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I can't keep it in my head right now. But we'll be doing mediumship readings. So if you had a question today and it didn't get answered, please pop in and see us on Friday.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna read tomorrow, on
oh,
Thursday with Ann Alley's channel,
oh,
and
great.
a lot of new readers there too. Or they're not
Yeah.
new. They're new to the show, not new to reading.
Yeah. Do
And
you know who you'll
but
be reading with tomorrow?
I don't right now, but it could be Kevin's Loving Tarot might be
Oh,
there.
good, good. He's
Mark
great.
of the Spirit Whisperer might be there. Joan probably will be there.
All right,
Mm,
Joan.
Yeah. So
That's
so
great.
yeah. And then I'm going to read Saturday on Jean's channel with Ron Unconditional Love.
Oh,
Um,
I will be there.
yeah,
And
Ron,
I'd love to pop in and see you, on Allie's show too. That's really great. You're a busy girl.
I'm a busy girl. And then I'm going to read the calendar. I think I have a show on Sunday too, and something on Monday. So I'm actually doing live shows for like 6 days in a row.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'm just popping onto my calendar here really quick because I know that I'm taking a break here for a little while, and then after that, Medium Kim will be on the next live
Ooh,
Walking
I
with
can't
Two
wait to
Worlds
hear
on
that.
May 10th. That'll be on May 10th. Did I go away when I did that? Did I disappear?
A tiny bit, but all I said was I can't wait to hear Medium Kim being
Yeah,
interviewed.
isn't
That
that
would
going to
be
be
so
exciting?
cool.
It's so fun, and I think you know what? I keep going back now and kind of comparing the answers and really
Mhm,
enjoying the difference and the, different perspectives and
mhm.
vibrations that we all have. It's really fun. So, I hope you'll all join us then, and, I guess it's time to sign off. Thank you,
Yeah.
Terri.
Well, this
Thank
has
you.
been fun, and I'm glad. Thank you for inviting me. The hour went like that.
It did. I just looked at the time and went, "Oh my goodness." It does, it does when you're with people you love, when, I was looking over and enjoying the chat and hearing your beautiful, amazing journeys, Terri. It's just the best, and time did fly by really fast. So, I hope we can do something like this again,
Yeah,
and, we'll come up with some new ideas. Who knows?
yeah, and I can't wait to hear your other guests. This is
Oh,
really
great.
fascinating.
Oh, and I'm
Mm,
glad you said that because I think I mentioned it in, the first show that, so far all I have are women, and I'm considering having some males come along on the
mm,
show and give us some of their perspectives. So if
yeah,
you have someone in mind, put it in the chat or in the comments, and I'll put it on the list. And I've had a couple suggestions, and I'm not going to tell you who. Will surprise you. But I think we're going to continue this, and I'd like to actually do extend the series into tarot card readers,
oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, so that'll be exciting to learn about how they feel about things as well.
Yeah.
All right, Terri, love you, girl.
Okay. Love you
Okay,
too.
and I'm going to end the show the way I end all my shows. Please. please don't forget, you are loved beyond measure. Have a good night. Bye.